Okay, let's talk about the reality of having a powerful computer. Usually, you're paying a kind of tax for all that power, right?
Right.
You get heat, you get fan noise, you get this big tower humming away next to you.
The space heater under the desk.
Exactly. And if you want one of those clean, silent workspaces, you usually have to give up some of that power.
Maybe you don't.
And that's what we're digging into today. We're doing a deep dive into a piece of hardware that says you can have it both ways. It's the NTI ST-IPUSBVD-R-VW.
It's a bit of an alphabet soup name, I know.
It really is.
But what it does is actually very specific. It's a VGA and DVI USB KVM extender over IP.
Right. And while extender sounds kind of basic, the mission here is pretty ambitious. We're talking about taking your workstation, moving it to the other side of a building.
And making it feel like it's still right there in front of you.
Exactly. No lag, no weird video artifacts, just a single KD6 cable acting as this high-definition lifeline.
Right. And we aren't just talking about moving it to the next room. This device is really pushing the limits of what you can do with IP-based extension.
So let's start with the distance then, because with normal copper cables, you hit a wall very, very quickly. But the specs here claim, 150 meters?
150 meters, yeah. So that's about 492 feet. And that's in a direct point-to-point connection.
Which is already impressive.
It is, but the real flexibility comes when you introduce a network switch.
Ah, because it's all IP-based.
Exactly. If you route the signal through a gigabit switch, you actually gain distance. You can bump that range up to 200 meters.
Which is over 650 feet. That makes sense, I guess, because the switch just acts as a repeater.
It does.
But that brings up something I found really interesting in the specs. Since this is running over IP, we're not just limited to a one-to-one extension, are we?
No, and that's the real aha moment for people who build these systems.
You're building a matrix.
You are. By using a managed gigabit switch, you can configure a many-to-many setup. You can have multiple users accessing multiple different computers, all from different locations.
So you're effectively creating a virtual matrix switch without having to buy a huge, expensive piece of proprietary hardware. You're just using your standard IT infrastructure.
Precisely. But, and this is a critical detail from the documentation, you can't just go grab a cheap, unmanaged switch from a store.
Right, there's a catch.
You need a switch with VLAN and IGMP support.
Because video over IP is heavy, it's a lot of data. If you don't manage that traffic, you're going to have a bad time.
A very bad time. We're talking about multicast traffic here. Without something called IGMP snooping, that video data would flood every single port on the switch. It would just bring your entire office network to a crawl.
And the VLANs keep all that heavy video traffic separate from, your email and internet browsing.
It's robust, but it requires that specific network setup.
Okay, so let's shift to what we're actually sending over that network. The video support on this NTI unit it's surprisingly versatile.
It is. It handles both analog VGA and digital DVI.
At the same time, usually you have to pick one.
It does both simultaneously. Both the transmitter and the receiver can drive a VGA and a DVI monitor with resolutions up to 1080p.
And that simultaneous support must feed right into the VW part of that long name video wall support.
You got it. This isn't just for a remote desktop. It's for building these massive displays.
How big are we talking?
Up to an 8x16 screen grid. And it handles the processing internally to rotate displays 180 or 270 degrees.
So for a command center or digital sign, you don't need a separate video processor to handle the screen orientation.
The extender does it all.
But a video wall is useless if you can't manage it. You can't just walk over and press the power button on 128 different screens every morning.
And that's where the control interfaces come in. It's not just extending USB 2.0 for your keyboard and mouse.
It has RS-232.
Full duplex RS-232. Up to 115200 baud.
Which is huge for commercial installs. That lets you send command loops to the screens, power on, power off, switch inputs, all of it, remotely.
Plus it has bidirectional infrared or IR support. So you really have total control over whatever is at the other end.
And the USB support, it's worth noting, it's not just for keyboards. It covers USB 1.1 and 2.0, so flash drives, webcams, touch screens.
They all just pass right through. It preserves all that interactivity.
So it brings us back to the user experience. Whether you're on a Solaris server, a Linux box, Windows, a Mac, it doesn't matter. The user just sits down and it works.
The operating system has no idea the actual computer is 600 feet away in a server closet.
It effectively decouples the user from the machine. You get the pristine, silent environment.
And the hardware stays in a climate-controlled server room where it belongs. It's the invisible infrastructure that makes modern, clean design possible.
So here's a thought to leave you with. We often design our workspaces around the constraints of our cables,
Yeah.
where the tower fits, where the outlet is.
Hmm.
If you could move that noisy, heat-generating computer 600 feet away and just turn your desk into a pure interface, how would that change the way you work?
What would you do with all that silence?
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.